Derek, the new diesel, is enjoying his new life on the island of Sodor. He is used on the branch line, taking goods trains to stations from yards. And like Edward, he can also be seen helping trains up Gordon's Hill. But he does have one fatal problem. His cooling system doesn't allow him to work properly. Luckily, the other engines are there to help him to the works. One day, Boko brought Derek to the works. He was feeling very embarrassed with himself. The other engines couldn't help but pour insults through his mind. Who knew on Earth that Sir Topham Hatt would want to send such a poorly suited engine for his railway? If he wants to be like us, sniffed Gordon pompously, he needs to work as hardly as an ant. Derek looked down at his buffers. Boko and Henry were most offended. Cut it out, you two, sniffed Henry. It's not his fault he can't run properly. Quite, agreed Boko. Me and Henry were given problems like these too. You wouldn't be laughing if you were in an accident yourself, Gordon and James. Gordon and James said nothing. They just looked away. With his friends sticking up for him, Derek felt much better. The next day, Derek arrived to collect his train full of bricks to take to the building site. He was determined not to overheat his engine, but his confidence was short-lived. A whistle blew in the distance. Gordon sped through with a heavy express. Careful not overheating over my hill, he called pompously. This little reply made Derek look down at his buffers again. Gordon was racing down the main line at his top speed. The main line would never do without me, he said to himself, as his driver tried to calm him down. At the siding near the big station, there were a couple of old fuel cars near here. They were waiting to be shunted by Percy, but he was away taking the mail, and so no one had cared to collect them. Gordon was still thundering down the line, towards the siding. He was very pleased with himself, but then he began to feel a little strange. My steam feels hot, he said to his driver. The driver went to investigate the gauge, but then there was a loud screech. Soon, Gordon started to slow down, groaning as his brakes came on with a screech. Sparks flew out of his funnel. Your speeding has worn you out, said the driver. Just before Gordon could complain, they all smelled something strange. Is that smoke? Asked Gordon. Yes, said the fireman, but it's not from you. They soon found their answer when they looked to their left. The fuel cars had caught fire from Gordon's spark and were now setting alight. Gordon and the others gasped. If that fuel spreads over here, there could be a huge disaster, cried his driver. The guard and the passengers cowered in the coaches, and the fuel in the cars spread even larger. I don't wish to go up sooner, wailed Gordon. Then, suddenly, Derek arrived at the scenery. He was very worried indeed. The guard quickly explained to him and his driver. That looks dangerous, said the driver cautiously. Stay calm, and we'll get you out of here in no time. Soon Derek was coupled up behind Gordon. I'm ready, he hooted on his horn. So am I, shrieked Gordon, doubtfully, as Derek struggled with his engine as he pulled back with all his might. The coaches were very heavy indeed, but Derek didn't give up yet. Grease and oil, he groaned. This is more heavy than I thought. But with all his might, he was able to pull Gordon and the passengers clear before the cars exploded. But luckily, everyone was safe. Sir Topham Hatt, who had been on the train, came to congratulate Derek. "Well done indeed," he said. The passengers were relieved. They scrambled out of the coaches and applauded Derek, who could only beam. Even Gordon. "Thank you for saving me," he said. "I'm sorry for being rude to you." "All right," said Derek. "I may break down, but you often get into the most extraordinary accidents," he chuckled. Everyone else did, as Derek set off to the works with Gordon.